This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the 16th day of May in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Firing back at the Ministry of Education hours after it was accused of making unreasonable demands that would likely lead to a breakdown in talks, the Guyana Teachers Union has said it is the government that is being unreasonable with an unacceptable position for teachers to return to work without first addressing their grievances. A 20% across-the-board payment to teachers is among the list of conditions put forward by the union to bring an end to the ongoing strike to allow for conciliation. But Education Minister Priya Chen has said the GTU is being unreasonable with its demand. But the Central Executive Committee of the union has rejected the minister's contention. GTU General Secretary Coretta MacDonald.
We have been calling from 2020. We've called in 2021 and 2022. We sent several correspondences. We sent to His Excellency. We got no response. We sent again. And so the whole notion of GTU being irresponsible and the 20% asking is not right in their sight it's just unfortunate that we have persons who can be so heartless and so crude and very, very inconsiderate and not caring, let me say that. Because for you to have an entity knocking at your door from 2020 to now, and then you have the audacity to say what you were saying then now, it means that something is wrong with you.
The GTU has said the contention that the union breached a confidentiality agreement is completely false, explaining that as a teacher's representative, it has a responsibility to keep teachers fully informed about negotiations that directly impact their livelihoods.
What transpired in that room was where we said to the Chief Labour Officer, one, we couldn't trust anything coming from the Ministry of Education because we were bitten once and we were not about to be bitten again. We have a responsibility to our teachers and we are going to hold on to that mandate. We sat in that room. The first day we sat there and we were going in circles, in circles, in circles. During that day, when we were sitting there, the ministry was not agreeing to anything that was proposed by the GTU. We were toying with words. We spoke about putting the proposal into the document, and that's the document that speaks to the terms of resumption. Putting GTU's proposal of 2019-2023. No, they don't want it. And we were being asked in that meeting, every time we were being asked to compromise and to compromise and to compromise. But the Ministry of Education was not prepared to compromise on anything. And so we ended up nowhere on that first day. We promised that we were going to return on the second day and we were going to arrive at a position. Mind you, we said the only issue that is important to the Ministry of Education and to the Chief Labour Officer is that of calling the strike off. Now, we cannot afford to call our members off of an industrial action with nothing in our hands. Our teachers must be compensated for being out there. Our teachers must be assured that when they return to schools, they are going to gain. And that gain is showing no way there.
The two sides met at the Labour Ministry on Monday and Tuesday in the presence of the Chief Labour Officer, but they were unable to reach an agreement on the conditions for the resumption of work by teachers. The meeting is expected to continue next Monday. Minister Chen at a press conference yesterday said the union's posture is an indication that teachers are being used as pawns in a much larger politically directed plot. But the union says such a claim is unfounded.
We simply said to the Ministry of Education through the Chief Labour Officer, look, GTU is prepared to alter its proposal. We are prepared to delete 2 years from our proposal. Let's work from 2021 onwards. No, they're not prepared to do that. We said, look, we are prepared to pull our teachers off of the road. The first thing we said to them is that our teachers being out there is of grave concern to us. Our students not being taught is of even more concern to us. But we cannot continue to be ridden by the government of the day as was done before. And so once bitten, twice shy. We said to the Ministry of Education, we presented a proposal to you. Since you're talking 2024 onwards, could you please present to us a draft of something that you want to give us in 2024? They said no, they're not prepared to do that. Now, if you go out there to the man in the street, they will tell you, if you're going to give something, you must get something in return. We offered you a proposal. You did not even have the common courtesy to offer us a counter proposal. With regards to the political issue, I want to take your minds back to 2018, when Barrett Jacques, as leader of the opposition, then said, the teachers' strike is not political. The teachers' strike is legal. The teachers have real issues. And he was admonishing President David Granger then that he should talk to the teachers and he should return to collective bargaining. But surprisingly, as a matter of fact, he went as far as saying too that, the APNU believes that if they give in to the teachers, if they yield to the teachers, it will be a win for the PPP. You see, as a man thinketh, so is he. And so because of that conviction that he has in his mind, he is thinking right now that if they were to yield to the teachers, it would be a win for the APNU AFC. But they are being very, 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 very stupid. Because if you yield to the teachers, it means well for you. Not for the APNU AFC, it means well for you. Teachers have been turning the sod in this country. They have been causing the economy to roll. And this is what you're doing to teachers. It is simply saying to us, you don't care.
The GTU said while the education minister highlighted a number of developments within the education sector, she has fallen short in acknowledging that the core issue, which has resulted in the industrial action, is still unresolved, and that it is the government's refusal to negotiate an overdue collective bargaining agreement for 2019 to 2023 as legally required that is responsible for the current situation. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Chance of a lifetime with Lucozade Energize Your Drive promotion. Enter to win a fully loaded Toyota CHR or a ton of cash. $500,000 and $250,000 respectively. Just purchase 2 or more Lucozade 360 milliliter at participating outlets. Write your contact details on the back of the receipt and place them in the marked boxes nationwide. It's that simple. And you're on your way to Energize Your Drive with Lucozade. This promotion runs April 12th to June 7th, 2024. Terms and conditions apply.
After stinging nettles, stink and dirty,
moderation, and soca and wine,
it's time to cool down with
soca star Patrice Roberts.
Looseness in my waist, not to ice my shade. Why am I doing it?
Patrice Roberts.
Nesta, and more.
At Cabisa Cool Out Beach Party.
Link your crew.
As we close off the Genesis Independence Weekend the right and proper way.
On Monday, the 27th of May, the holiday.
At Kingston Beachfront.
Drinks, friends, and soca vibes.
Admission $3,000 early bird.
Cabisa Cool Out.
Please drink responsibly.
Coming to the defense of the Ministry of Education, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Senior Counsel Anil Nandlal has said he believes the demands being made by the Guyana Teachers Union for the resumption of work are premature. The GTU, as we reported, is demanding that teachers must receive an interim 20% across-the-board payment before the ongoing strike action is called off to allow for conciliation on the time frame for the multi-year agreement. The Attorney General said instead of addressing the narrow issue when it met with the Education Ministry in the presence of the Chief Labour Officer, the Teachers Union set the stage for another impasse by prematurely putting forward a number of demands.
Rather than deal with that issue, that narrow issue of what was referred to be conciliated upon, which is which time frame, the union has now superimposed a whole regime of demands which are not only premature, precipitous, but may not be even considered relevant.
In an interview with the Department of Public Information, Mr. Nandlal said the two sides must first agree to resolve the impasse regarding the time frame for the multi-year agreement. The union is pushing for its 2019 to 2023 proposal to be addressed first, while the Education Ministry wants to skip that period completely and focus on this year and the years ahead. The Attorney General said to resolve those issues by way of conciliation, teachers must return to their classrooms.
Conciliation by its very nature and by law, both under the agreement and under the Labour Act, can only proceed upon the resumption to work. Conciliation can subsist during a strike. That's a established legal and industrial principle. So in order for the conciliation to even start, you have to go back to work. But the union has now imposed upon the conciliation a regime of demands which they are saying must be addressed before the conciliation even begins.
Right.
Now that is in bad faith, that is contrary to the principles of conciliation, and may very well be unlawful.
Meanwhile, Minister Nandlal has indicated that the government is moving ahead with its appeal of Justice Samuel Kissoon's ruling, which blocked the government from deducting money from the salaries of striking teachers, and also ordered the government to continue to withdraw union fees from the teachers on behalf of their union, the GTU. Still in the education sector, Chief Education Officer Saddam Hussein has written to the regional education officers, informing them that a decision has been taken by the Ministry of Education and that there will be no administering of end-of-year examinations in public primary and secondary schools at the end of the current school term. The end-of-year exams are usually used for promotional purposes in primary and secondary schools. However, the Education Ministry has indicated that there should now be continuous assessment used to allow the promotion of students into their next class. However, it was stated that the National Grade 5 assessment will be administered as usual. In the case of those students to be streamed into the fourth form, the Ministry of Education said consideration should be given to the stream choice of the students. The Education Ministry has cited the weeks of learning loss for its decision. Earlier this year, teachers stayed away from their classrooms for 4 weeks as part of their strike action. The teachers restarted strike action a week ago, and the strike action is continuing as the Ministry of Education and the Guyana Teachers Union continue to meet on issues related to collective bargaining and the demands of teachers. On Monday, Minister of Education Priya Manak Chan complained about the learning loss being experienced by students as a result of the strike action. She likened the current situation to what existed during the pandemic. However, during that time, most teachers conducted online classes. While teachers remain on strike action and have been staying away from their classrooms, many of them have been sending worksheets to the parents of the students. Some schools have reported that as much as 80% of the teachers on roll have been absenting themselves from the classrooms during the ongoing strike. Vice President Bharat Jagdeo today clarified that proof of NIS contributions is not mandatory for graduates of the University of Guyana to benefit from the first phase of the government's student debt write-off. 13,000 Guyanese are expected to benefit during the first phase, which will see loans owed by the graduates of the university being cleared. In making the announcement, Minister with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, said to qualify for the write-off, graduates would have to produce evidence of 156 contributions made to the NIS to confirm that they worked in Guyana for 3 or more years after graduating from the university. But at a press conference today, Vice President Bharat Jagdeo said he spoke to the President on the issue just before the press conference, and that sort of proof is not being required.
Convey the impression, if they don't have that evidence, that they pay, then they would not be eligible. So a person may be working, they may not have made their contributions to the NIS, a graduate, and be working 3 years here in Guyana, or may have been unemployed, but still in Guyana, not migrated, because if you migrate, that's a different story. But you're still in Guyana, you may have even been unemployed, you would still be eligible for the write-off. So you don't have to provide that evidence of 156 contributions made to the NIS.
Mr. Jagdeo said the government intends to make the process easy for Guyanese to benefit from the first phase of the write-off.
We want to make this easy for our people who have, the students who have outstanding loans. We don't want to put in conditions that will create maybe or minimize the impact of this initiative, which we believe can help a lot of people.
Already, the Ministry of Finance has opened the application process for that student debt write-off to begin.
Rev up your excitement and win the chance of a lifetime with Lucosade Energize Your Drive promotion. Enter to win a fully loaded Toyota CHR or a ton of cash. $500,000 and $250,000 respectively. Just purchase 2 or more Lucosade 360 milliliter at participating outlets. Write your contact details on the back of the receipt and place them in the marked boxes nationwide. It's that simple. And you're on your way to energize your drive with Lucosade. This promotion runs April 12th to June 7th, 2024. Terms and conditions apply.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
year or last year. It was so nice. Me and them girls had real fun. It's the best party I ever went to. As a big one.
Back by Popular Demand, Team Extra present The Bad Birthday. June 22nd, 12 one-man bands running live. Stitchy Fight Machine, Murphy Invasion Band, Love Connection, Genesis, Big B, Cali World Band, Aaron the Entertainer, Water Spoon, and many more. Early bird tickets at $2,000 at Just New Size Boutique, White Castle Fish Shop, Fireside Sweets, Extra Beer, Starbucks, compliments of Fireside Sweets, Extra Energy Drink, and Extra Beer. The Band's Birthday, Saturday, June 22nd at the National Park. In the world of politics, the Central Executive Committee of the People's National Congress Reform has agreed to host the party's Delegates Congress and elections at the end of June. News source has confirmed that the party's Congress and elections have now been set for the 28th, 29th, and 30th of June. The Central Executive Committee of the party met yesterday and agreed to a date. News source also understands that at the meeting, a proposed budget was laid out and various executive members have been given different tasks in realizing the budget to host the Congress and the elections. The party is expected to make an official announcement about its Congress date tomorrow. Party members have been pressing the party's leadership to set a date for the Delegates Congress and elections, and the party is gearing up for next year's general elections. At the last Congress, held in December of 2021, Aubrey Norton charged into the leadership position of the party with a landslide victory over Joe Harmon and Dr. Van West Charles. Since then, however, several senior party members have expressed some unease with Norton's leadership style and have accused him of bypassing the party's executive on many major decisions and major issues confronting the party. Norton has said he has been busy working underground in rebuilding the PNC. He's expected to face some challenges for the position of party leader. Already senior counsel and the party spokesman on legal affairs, Royce Dilford, has indicated his interest in the leadership position, even rolling out a full campaign team. Another attorney and party executive member, Amanda Walton Desir, is likely to announce her availability to be nominated for the position of party leader. News source understands that there could also be other possible candidates vying for the top positions in the party's leadership. Father and son businessmen Nazar Muhammad and Azruddin Muhammad have slapped social media commentator turned government contractor Mikhail Rodriguez, also known as the Guyanese critic, and his company They Break News with a $1.2 billion defamation lawsuit. In the lawsuit, the Muhammads claim that Rodriguez at various times in February and March this year during his morning program defamed both the father and his son. It was explained that in the case of the father, Rodriguez played several voice notes of him on his live online program and later made a number of derogatory remarks against him. The senior Muhammad is offended by multiple statements made by Rodriguez during his talk show, but particularly took umbrage to Rodriguez insinuating that he is a criminal. Mr. Muhammad also submitted to the court that Rodriguez made statements to the effect that his family was financing the teachers' protests back in February. According to the businessman, Rodriguez in another program in March told his audience that the Muhammads destroyed many lives. He is also offended by another statement made by Rodriguez. Through his attorneys Rajendra Punai, Sohan Punai, and Naresh Punai, Muhammad in his application said that the statements made by Rodriguez have the potential for persons in society to view him and his family a certain way, particularly because he has been a businessman for many years. He said the words offered by Rodriguez are wholly untrue, disingenuous, unfounded, dangerous, and unsubstantiated. Similar claims were made by the younger Muhammad in his case. The feud between the Guyanese critic and the Muhammads have been ongoing for months, with critic declaring that he has nothing to fear and it will be business as usual for him. Critic, who was friends with the younger Muhammad, has denied earlier defamation accusations leveled against him by the family. Only yesterday, the High Court issued a gag order barring the Guyanese critic, Mikhail Rodriguez, from repeating accusations and defamatory remarks he publicly made against the Muhammad family. The Guyanese critic is already facing a $450 million lawsuit from a former government minister, Simone Brooms, over defamation and libel, as well as a $200 million lawsuit from political activist Mark Benchcop on similar claims.
Look at the breathtaking beauty of the Essequibo. From its pristine rivers to its abundant resources, it's a treasure that belongs to Guyana, and we ask Venezuela to respect the rule of international law.
Our commitment to this land is not just about ownership. It's about preserving its beauty and resources for our people and future generations.
The controversy between Guyana and Venezuela was settled internationally as full, perfect, and final in 1899. Essequibo belongs to Guyana.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true, or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Holiday spending put a dent in your cash. Top up your pockets in the Cash Splash promotion. Win over $5 million, including over $1 million in our weekly draws. Just purchase any Buster, Turbo, Fruita, Cool Kids, or Viva. Look for the 8-digit code starting with 786. Then visit Facebook or IG at Buster Guyana or Turbo_Caribbean for more details.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region. The U.S. removed Cuba from a list of countries the United States alleges are not cooperating fully in its fight against terrorism, a State Department official said on Wednesday. Reuters in a report said the official cited the resumption of law enforcement cooperation between Cuba and the U.S. as one of the reasons why the previous designation was deemed no longer appropriate. The department determined that the circumstances for Cuba's certification as a not fully cooperating country have changed from 2022 to 2023, the official said. The decision is an important move on behalf of the Biden administration, which until now has largely maintained the Trump-era restrictions on the communist-run island. The Cooperation Against Terrorism list, which the State Department is required by law to provide the U.S. Congress, is not the same as the state sponsors of terrorism lists, according to the department official. Former U.S. President Donald Trump separately designated Cuba as state sponsor of terrorism just prior to leaving office, a job that Cuba maintains has contributed to severe economic crisis on the island and to shortages of food, fuel, and medicine. The number of miners crossing the treacherous jungle between Colombia and Panama, known as the Darien Gap, is on pace to rise by 34% to reach 160,000 this year. The United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, said on Wednesday. The migration of mostly U.S.-bound kids through the Darien Gap represents a prolonged crisis, UNICEF said in a statement, adding that the current data points to record child migration in 2024 for the fifth consecutive year in the dangerous stretch of jungle. More than 30,000 minors have already trekked through the area in the first 4 months of this year, up 40% from the same period last year. Around 2,000 of them were unaccompanied or otherwise separated from their families. The Darien Gap is no place for children. Many children have died on the dangerous journey. Women have given birth while en route, bringing new life into the world in the most challenging of circumstances. The UNICEF Deputy Executive Director is quoted as saying in the statement, "Children account for a fifth of all people crossing the jungle," he added. In 2023, a record-breaking 520,000 migrants made the same journey. And finally tonight, international news. China's Xi Jinping and Russia's Vladimir Putin on Thursday pledged a new era of partnership between the two most powerful rivals of the United States, which they cast as an aggressive Cold War hegemon that was sowing chaos across the world. Xi Jinping greeted Putin on a red carpet outside the Great Hall of the People in Beijing, where they were hailed by marching People's Liberation Army soldiers, a 21-gun salute and children waving the flags of China and Russia. China and Russia declared a no-limits partnership in February 2022, when Putin visited Beijing just days before he sent tens of thousands of troops into Ukraine, triggering the deadliest land war in Europe since World War II. The two presidents signed a joint statement on Thursday about a new era that proclaimed opposition to the United States and a host of security issues and a shared view on everything from Taiwan and Ukraine to North Korea and cooperation on new peaceful nuclear technologies and finance. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.